Hi and welcome to Twinsburg Public Library training videos. Today we're going to be discussing Google Drive and Google Docs. This is an introduction video and we won't get into detailed descriptions of how to use Google Docs, but I will add more videos later to discuss those. So first, what is Google Drive? Well, Google Drive is a way for you to save your files in your Google account so that you can access them from any computer that has internet access. This is a great way for saving files if you have to go from the library computer to a home computer to a school computer. And it's also a great way for you to organize your files instead of relying heavily on email. So a lot of people like to email their documents, which is fine, and you can do a search for your email to find it. But with Google Drive, you can actually have better organization so that it's easier to find your documents at a later time. Google Docs is an answer to the Microsoft Office, Apple iPages. Basically, it's productivity software, but it's web-based. And it's very to the point. So if you just need to make a document in a hurry, or if you don't really need all of the special features that Microsoft provides, Google Docs is excellent. Plus, it's free, web-based. You can access it from anywhere and from any device. So before we get started with Docs, we'll start with Drive. Whenever you want to access Drive, you're going to click on the Google Apps button in your web browser. Now, quick side note, if you do have Chrome installed, it does tend to work much more seamlessly with Docs and Drive. Firefox is another excellent web browser. You do want to keep both of these current. Internet Explorer does work, but it typically does not work as well as Chrome or Firefox. So when you click on the Google Apps button over here on the side, we have little icons that represent all of Google's services. You'll notice that in the center we see a green, yellow, and blue triangle. This is Drive. When you click Drive, you also gain access to Google Docs. They're all kept in the same app. So if I click on this app, it takes me into Google Drive. Now, if you'll look on the left side, we have our folders. In the center, we can see our files. And then we have different setting icons in the top right. For anyone who's used Windows computers, this is a very similar structure. You can see that we have the files on the left, just like you would expect in Internet Explorer. So the first thing when using Drive, you might want to know, well, how do I add files? To upload files, if you click New, File Upload, you can scroll to find a file. On the bottom corner, a little pop-up appears that will tell you that it was uploaded. And there we see the document. So what I just uploaded was a Word document. Notice it has a little W. This lets me know that this is a Word document. Each symbol next to the file name tells you quickly what type of document this file is. So down here we have our folders. If you want to add a new folder, you would also click the New button. So anytime you want to add content or upload content, you're going to click the New button. So to create a folder, I will click Folder. It's going to ask me to create a name, and so I'm going to give my folder a name. Click Create. I get another little pop-up that tells me it's working. And soon a new folder appears. Folders are along the top. They're displayed first in alphabetical order, and then you have your files in alphabetical order at the bottom. So to reiterate, if you want to create a new folder or upload a file, you're always going to go to the New button. Now, Google Drive also allows you to upload folders. So let's say you've already had a folder created that contains multiple files. You do not have to individually upload each file. Instead, you can click the New button and do a folder upload and select a folder that you would like to add. It might take a little longer for the folder to upload, but you'll see the progress as each file within the folder is uploaded. So this does save you some hassle of having to go back in and upload individual files. If you already have a folder with a collection of files that you want, it will appear in Drive. So new, to create a new folder, to upload an individual file, or to upload a folder that contains files. If I want to see a folder and the files that it contains, I can click on the folder. So here I have it highlighted. If I double click, it opens the folder so that I can see the different files. If I click on the My Drive button up top, it'll take me back to the previous menu. If I want to open a file, I can double click on the file to open the preview. So here I can just read the file. When I'm in this preview, I can't edit the document. But because Google Docs and Google Drive is integrated, I can edit this document from here if I chose by clicking Open with Google Docs up at the top. If you do not see that bar, you can make it appear by moving your cursor. If I just wanted to print my document, I can print it. If I wanted to download it so that I can edit it in Microsoft Word or a program that I have installed on my computer, I can download it by clicking the download button. I can also share documents, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. To close my preview, I click Close. These other icons let you expand or zoom in or look at the details about a file. So it can tell you who the author is, the type of file, how big it is, when it was created. So double click to view folders, double click to view files, and again, you can always download files if you so choose. Now notice that when I double click this file, it automatically opened it. That's because the document type is one of the Google Docs, so it's native to Google Docs, so instead of previewing the file, it's going to automatically open it for me. Back to the left side, we see the different categories of files. So shared with me, these are files that you did not create, but someone has created and shared with you. When you share files, you grant different levels of ability, so you can either edit or just read. You can make things open for the web. You can make things closed for just certain people. We'll talk more about sharing a little later. Recent, these are files that you've recently opened, recently edited, things like that. Starred are important files. Trash are things you've deleted. If I go back to my document, my drive, I can look at my files at any time. At the bottom, it tells you how much storage you have. So right now I've used 37 megabytes, which is basically almost nothing of my 15 gigabytes. And it tells you where my storage is going. When you create a Google account, you do have a certain amount free. And that free is 15 gigabytes. For the everyday user, you'll take some time before you actually fill this up. But if you do need to buy more storage, you can by clicking Buy More Storage. And then you can select the plan of your choice. Mostly those who use the 100 gigs or the 1 terabyte, you might be conducting your business through Google Drive. But if you, as an everyday user, need the space, you can always purchase the plan. And that's it for the basic introduction of the Google Drive window. I'm going to move your attention over here to the gear, which is settings. You're always going to want to go into settings to determine if the default is where you think it should be. So you can change your language settings, you can convert uploads to Google Docs immediately, so instead of keeping it as a Word document, it would convert it. And you can tell it to automatically put your Google Photos into a folder in My Drive. You click Manage Apps. This lets you decide how you're going to interact with the different apps in your drive. View Details, if you click on that, will tell you the latest things you've done. This is also a good way to keep track of your Drive account to make sure there's no one who's using it without your knowledge. You can quickly sort your files based off the name of the file, the last time it was modified by most recent files, or whenever they were recently opened. And finally, if you don't like the pictures, you can switch to a list view, which is in this style, more similar to Microsoft's Windows Explorer's style. Or if you prefer the pictures, you can click Grid View. So this button switches between the two views. So we've covered how to create folders, how to upload single files, how to upload folders with files, how to open files and folders, and how to edit a file if I so chose by clicking on the Drive icon. For compatibility, most Office can be converted into a Google Doc, and I believe iPages can too. So this is just another way for you to upload and manage your files. If you wanted to move a file into a folder, you can actually click and drag the file into any folder of your choice. So if I want to move this example here into this example 2 folder, I click and drag it to move it into the folder, click on my folder to find it. If I want to delete a file, I can click on it, and I can click the trash icon up at the top. Now let's talk about sharing. So you can share a document in your Drive, and this allows you to co-work on a file, or if you're a teacher and you want to send out instructions to all your students, you can use Drive to do that. So when you share a file, it's going to ask you who you're sharing it with. So you can enter specific names if you have them saved in your contact list, or their email addresses. And after you've said who you're sharing it with, you can tell them if they can edit it, if they're only allowed to add comments, or they're only allowed to view the document. So if you're a teacher sending out instructions to students, you might set it so that they can only view, or maybe add a comment so they can send questions your way to clarify. But you most likely do not want the students to be able to edit the document. If you're working with a coworker on a project, you might want to have them be able to edit the document, or maybe just comment on it. If you don't know their email addresses, or if you're going to be sharing a document with many people, you can actually click the Get Shareable link. And this will copy the link to your clipboard that you can then paste into Facebook, paste into an email, or Twitter, wherever it is you want to share it. Again, when you set the link, you can say anyone with the link can view it, anyone with the link can edit, or can comment. Be very careful if you give anyone with the link the ability to edit. That means that if this link goes live onto the internet and they have the ability to edit, they can change your document to reflect anything. So a link is basically making it public on the internet, so just be aware of that. If you click Advanced, you can also change document owners. So if I no longer want to take control of the document, I can send it to someone else to make them the owner. So that's sharing documents. If you sent an email to an individual to share a document, they would just get an email with a link directly to your document. If the person you shared the link to has signed up for Google Drive, you will also find all documents shared with you in the Share With Me tab. So here's where your coworkers or students would go to find that document, or if they shared back a document with you, this is where you would go to review it. And that's Google Drive in a nutshell. Let's move on to the Google Docs component. So Google Docs allows you to create your own file. And because we're creating something, we're making something new, you're going to go to the New button. And this is where the Google Docs apps live. So by default, we have Docs, Sheets, and Slides. You can get more by going to More and connecting more apps. We'll talk about that last. Let's quickly look at these different Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Docs lets you create Word documents. So, well, not Word as in Microsoft, but basically text documents. So if you need to make a letter, if you need to make a memo or something like that, you would click the Google Doc, type out your document. Notice up at the top we have a very simplified command toolbox. So I can print things, I can undo it, redo it. I can make things bold, italic, underline. I can change the size. I can change the font. I can create numbered lists and bullet lists. I can make things centered, left or right align. If I click on these different categories, it will also give me additional things that I can do to my document. This is not as detailed as Microsoft Word or iPages or any of the other ones that you would download onto your computer, but it is very simple to learn. It's just streamlined, so it's basically the things that you need to get the job done. Nothing fancy, just the basics. If you want to name your document where it says Untitled Document, you would click here and then give it a new name. I can type my document, and everything that I just did is saved automatically. I don't have to click a save button or Control S, anything like that. Every change I make is immediately saved. When I'm ready to return to Docs Home, I can click Docs Home to review every doc that I have made. I can close my tab to return to Drive. Let's click New and look at Sheets. Again, it opens up a new tab, and here I see a spreadsheet. I can type up my budget report. I can type up some quick data information. And notice again, I have a very streamlined toolbox up at the top. I have a couple of categories where I can make additional changes, including freezing rows, formatting my data, sorting my data, filtering my data. Again, this is the very basic of stuff that you need to use to make a basic spreadsheet. It doesn't have all the formulas and functions that Microsoft Excel does, but this is great for anyone who's just making a budget, who just needs to quickly organize their data to look for patterns. This is great. Same thing here. I can click up at Untitled and then give my spreadsheet a name. The way I move around in the spreadsheet is the same as other spreadsheet applications. I can use my arrows to move up and down. I can use my mouse to click into a cell. When a cell is active, it has the blue bold, and then I can just start typing to add my data. I'm going to close this tab. And then we also have Google Slides, which is a presentation software. So I can create different slides for a presentation. The first thing it does is going to ask me to pick a theme. And then from here I can click into the boxes to give it a title. I can insert a new slide. I can print my slides, so forth and so on. I can present, and it gives the Google Slides access to the full screen. And just like with other slides, I can use the arrow keys to move up and down. I can use this menu that appears with my mouse. When I'm ready to exit, I can hit escape on my keyboard or click that exit button that appeared in the bottom left corner. I can change transitions, so if I want to add fancy animations, I can. So that was just a very quick introduction to Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. The Docs, Sheets, and Slides are only available online unless you have Google Chrome installed on your computer. So Chrome is capable of creating docs, sheets, and slides in the web browser without being connected to the internet. The next time your computer is connected to the internet, it will automatically upload those files that you created. However, the best functionality with it is if your computer is connected to the internet, and if you're using Firefox, you won't be able to create files offline. Finally, the last thing, these are great for things that come as default, but if you want to add more, you can go to Connect More Apps. When you click Connect More Apps, you can find different apps you can add to Chrome or your Google Drive that some work, some don't. Most of these are by third parties, some of them are by Google. But there are a lot of neat apps that you can add to your drive that really improve some of the functionality. There's a lot of photo editors. There's a couple of different types of presentation software you can get. There are additional Google apps that you can add. So right now I already have Google Forms. Whenever you add an app, it shows up under More, and you can find them here. Google Forms, for example, lets you create quick surveys. In the future, we're going to have more detailed and in-depth explanations of docs, slides, and sheets. For now, this is just a basic introduction to what they are and where to find them. Thank you very much for watching this training video on Google Drive and Docs, and I look forward to seeing you again.